Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Enjoy today because the summer preview starts tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Rowe. Meteorologist Grant Skinner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking a big warm up this week. Grant, we're going to see highs reach the 90s and no real rain in sight.
That's right. It's going to stay very dry over much of the next week. I think by Sunday we could finally see a rain chance. I'll talk more about why we'll see that. But before that, it's going to be very hot out. I'll let you know how long we'll see temperatures in the 90s. But here's a view from Goldsboro right now. I wanted to show you this first because of a very brief shower there this evening. You can see a kind of a very small shower just to the north of Goldsboro. We'll zoom in on it. It was a little bit heavier about 10 to 15 minutes ago, but it's like the only rain that's popped up. So the range hits across the area probably less than 5%. We can see just a brief shower out over 117 moving towards 795 right now near Goldsboro. 81 in Raleigh, 83 in Fayetteville, 78 in Rocky Mount and in South Hill. High pressure is the main thing in control right now, keeping us mostly dry. This evening we drop to the upper 60s. It's going to get hot this week, though. Again, I'll let you know how long we'll stay in the 90s and also more about that rain chance into next weekend. That's coming up.
We have breaking news in Sampson County where deputies are searching for a suspect in a horrifying crime. They say that he set a woman on fire last night after breaking into her home. Investigators say they know who the suspect is, but not where. WRAL's Bailey Stamos is live in Roseboro. Bailey, where does this manhunt stand at this hour?
Well, it's just a horrible situation. This all happened around 10 p.m., not too far down the road from here. But here's a look at the suspect. This is 29-year-old Frankie Faircloth. The Sampson County Sheriff's Office says he's a homeless man, and they believe he could still be in the Roseboro area. He's facing charges that include arson, assault causing serious bodily injury, and burglary. The woman is in the hospital being treated for her burns, and anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers or Sampson County Sheriff's Office. In Sampson County, Bailey Stamos, WRAL News.
Bailey, thank you. A man was shot early this morning on Raleigh's Glenwood Avenue. This was the scene captured by the WRAL breaking news tracker just after 2:30 a.m. The man who was shot was taken to the hospital. He is expected to recover. Police say they have detained multiple possible suspects. Kinston police are investigating the shooting of a 15-year-old overnight. Officers were investigating a robbery near St. John Village just before 1 a.m. when they heard multiple gunshots nearby. Police said just moments later they saw a man running in all black. He was detained. They later found the teen who had been shot in the chest in one of the nearby apartments. The teenager was rushed to the hospital. No word on their condition at this hour. An early morning crash on Durham Road in Wake Forest sent 3 people to the hospital. This happened just before 5 a.m. near the intersection with Tyler Run Drive. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there as crews worked to remove the crashed car from the woods. The road was closed for about 3 hours. We're working to learn the cause of the crash and the severity of the injuries.
I'm Elizabeth Holmes in the WRAL Live Center, where we are following the latest on the war with Iran. The U.S. military saying today that it will begin blocking Iranian ports starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Of course, this comes after President Trump threatened to do that on social media after those failed peace talks. He said on social media earlier today that those talks failed because Iran would not give up their nuclear ambitions. He also said on social media that the U.S. military is ready to resume the conflict, saying that it is, quote, locked and loaded. Of course, it's unclear what this will do to gas prices going forward.
Okay, Elizabeth, thank you. You know, 20% of the world's oil supply moves through the Strait of Hormuz, and with the cost of gas on so many people's minds, here's a look at how it is impacting gas prices here at home. In Raleigh, the average gallon costs $3.92. In Durham and Chapel Hill, it's $3.96. In Fayetteville, that gallon is going for $3.89. To find the best gas prices near you, be sure to check out the WRAL fuel tracker. Just go to WRAL.com and search fuel. Some North Carolina Democrats are growing increasingly optimistic about their prospects in the midterm elections. Last year, Democrats were worried that they would only win about 3 or 4 of North Carolina's congressional seats. Now, one group thinks Democrats could win 5 or even 6. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee says high gas prices and the war with Iran are proving unpopular, a development that could help Democrats in North Carolina. The group is supporting incumbent Democrat Don Davis in the 1st Congressional District. It's also encouraging donors to support Democratic challengers to Republican incumbents Chuck Edwards and Greg Murphy. Our NC Capitol team spoke to political analysts about those races. See what they had to say about Democrats' odds of winning at WRAL.com.
Here in the Live Center, we're tracking some major political news out of Europe. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban conceded. He was defeated in a historic election today. He is one of the globe's most far-right leaning politicians. He held power in Hungary for 16 years, the longest serving leader in the European Union. He is considered an ally to President Donald Trump, and just a few days ago, Vice President J.D. Vance actually traveled to Hungary to endorse him. So this shows a shift in politics in the European Union.
Elizabeth, thank you. Looking ahead, the town of Wendell tomorrow will host a public hearing on the topic of data centers. Wendell's Board of Commissioners is considering a temporary pause so they have time to study how data centers could impact local infrastructure and possibly update development rules. There aren't any current proposals just yet, but this would help the town get a clear plan in place before any come in. Monday's public hearing will happen during the commissioners' regular board meeting. That all gets underway at 7 p.m. The city of Raleigh is taking another step in the transformation of Dorothea Dix Park. 4 buildings on the west side of the former hospital campus will soon be demolished. WRAL's Kirsten Clark shows us what's next for the space.
It's a place where old meets new and community meets nature. Lauren Danforth with Dix Park says the next phase of a project years in the making is designed to keep that theme going.
To make this vision and decide this is the path forward for the park and to see that actually starting to happen, I think this is one of these first big steps.
This graphic shows a wider view of the park's west side. The Adams, Ashby, Kirby, and Williams buildings will be removed as part of this next phase. The State Department of Health and Human Services occupied most of the buildings here at Dix Park. The department recently moved its offices, making now the perfect time to demolish these buildings to make room for green space.
It is going to just open up all of that expansive land for future trails, green space, more garden, or, even like Piedmont prairies.
We met Michelle Good at Dix Park. As a 40-year Raleigh resident, she's seen its transformations and is looking forward to the next one.
Some of the older buildings, I think it's great that they've kept them. But no, that sometimes you have to weigh your green spaces with progress.
Danforth says materials from the buildings will be preserved to use for future park projects.
We want to figure out how to keep sharing those stories, whether that's preserving physical material or retelling stories and narratives and making sure that doesn't get lost in the future.
Highlighting both the past and present in a project that holds space for both. In Raleigh, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
And Danforth says this phase of the project is expected to be complete at the end of the summer or maybe early fall. The city will then work to transform the east side of Dix Park. Dublin takeoff. A new major international flight is set to launch out of RDU tomorrow as you look live at Terminal 2. Why this new route is already creating buzz. Plus, a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Some of the Triangle's top young musicians just got a lesson from one of jazz's biggest names, how this special visit is helping them prepare for a major competition in New York City. And here's Renee Chu with a look at what we're working on for tomorrow morning.
The warmth stays and surges for the work week. Elizabeth is tracking what's keeping our weather dry and hot. Ken will be on traffic every 10 minutes. Plus, spring cleaning your electronics. 5 on your side shares how you can have your devices working like new without having to replace them. Start your work week with us beginning at 4:30 a.m.
Tomorrow, RDU will celebrate the first Aer Lingus nonstop flight to Dublin. The flights to Ireland will run 5 times a week, and the airline will charter UNC's football team to their game in Dublin against Texas Christian on August 26th. If you want to catch those international flights, next week the Wake County Register of Deeds will host its annual one-day passport fair. Yeah, you're going to need that passport if you want to go to Ireland. So this event is going to be held on Thursday. It starts at 8:30 a.m. at the Wake County Commons building. All applicants should be in line by 2:30 p.m. to be seen. The fair is open to the public. If you need to renew your passport, you can do that online at travel.state.gov. Happening tonight, crews will close Main Street in Rollsville to mill and repave the road. The overnight closures run from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. for at least the next 2 weeks. After milling, be advised the road will look rough and grooved. That's normal and it's temporary. The town says paving will follow closely behind to minimize how long the road stays in that condition. A group of Triangle teens is getting some world-class coaching before taking the stage on one of jazz's biggest stages. They sound pretty good, don't they? The sound of jazz filled the room at NC State's Price Music Center today. Emmy Award-winning composer and drummer Jerome Jennings worked with the Triangle Youth Jazz Ensemble, one of just 20 high school jazz bands in the world invited to compete at Jazz at Lincoln Center's Essentially Ellington Festival in New York later this month. And for these young musicians, today's clinic was about much more than fine-tuning notes.
I mean, for me, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'm really excited to just hear the input from all these amazing artists that we get to play for.
I think what's really special about jazz is that you don't have to have music in front of you. You don't have to always be playing with the same people. You can just show up, pick up your instrument, play with people, and it's great. Make new friends all the time.
It's very important that they understand that the hard work that they're putting in, it's moving in a positive direction. And they're being recognized for it, which doesn't always happen.
Before the ensemble heads to New York for the competition April 30th through May 2nd, you have 3 chances to hear them live in the Triangle. Here they are. Sunday, April 19th at 5 p.m. at Chapel in the Pines Presbyterian Church in Chapel Hill. Friday, April 24th at 8 p.m. at Memorial Hall in Chapel Hill. And Sunday, April 26th at 5:30 p.m. at the Rialto Theater in Raleigh. I'd love to get to one of those events. They are fantastic.
Oh,
fantastic. Yeah. Hey, we've got some big heat this week and an unusual stretch of it, too.
Yeah, so 4 different days in a row we could have temperatures in the 90s. The last time we saw that happen in April was 1960. Wow. So it's been about, 66 years since we've seen that. I mean, it's going to be a prolonged stretch of heat, and we haven't seen heat like this in quite some time. So be prepared for that. Drink plenty of water throughout this week and take those breaks as needed because it will be much hotter than usual. Again, last time we saw this much heat in April, 4 days in a row, was 1960. I showed this yesterday. I'll show this again to kind of give you an idea of the overall pattern. We have this upper level ridge that builds starting from the west, moving to the east. Already seen that kind of build in this weekend, but it gets stronger through the middle of this week. Now, this trough may bring in some slightly cooler temperatures, just barely on Friday, but we're still going to be close to 90 degrees. And then that trough lifts to the north. This ridge becomes really pronounced into the start of the coming weekend. That's going to allow highs to stay in the 90s and even hotter for the first half of the weekend. So it's going to be a long stretch of heat this week. It starts tomorrow. Temperatures already reaching the mid-80s. We start in the morning mild in the 60s with scattered cloud cover. Reach the mid-80s by the afternoon. Should be a nice day, just warming up and then getting hot this week. Wednesday we're at 91, 92 Thursday, up to 93 on Saturday. We finally start to back off into Sunday. Once our next cold front arrives, it'll also bring a chance for some scattered showers, maybe a few storms. We need the rain, so hopefully we can get in on some of that as the front passes. But this is the most significant thing. Multiple different days at or near records. So look at this. Tying the record on Wednesday and Thursday, 91, 92. Close to record on Friday. Saturday, really close to record as well. The record's at 95 degrees. Set back in 1896. So this would break long-time records if we can get that hot throughout this week. So it's going to be very, very hot out there. Be prepared for it. And with that ridge staying in place as well, high pressures in place. Look at the rain chances. Monday all the way through Saturday, goose egg. It's going to be dry all the way through the first half of the weekend. But then by Sunday, we see a chance for some scattered showers, maybe a few storms. That's ahead of our next cold front. But the rain totals are just not significant. This light green is about 1/100 of an inch of rain, so it's not going to be much. We're hoping for a little bit more of that as the front comes through. We'll have to watch and see how that changes over the next week. And of course, we'll have another update tomorrow morning with Chris Michaels and also Elizabeth Gardner. But overall, a drought monitor. Severe drought continues. Also, you can see extreme drought continues for parts of our area. So we need a lot of rain to make up for that. A couple of showers still over, I'd say one shower really. It's fizzling out over Goldsboro. Other than that, the entire area is very quiet this evening and will stay that way. Temperatures up in the upper 60s by 11 o'clock. By the early morning hours tomorrow, low 60s stepping out the door. We'll have partly cloudy skies. But again, turning hot this week. It's going to be really, really hot out there. 91 by Wednesday, staying in the 90s all the way through Saturday, hoping for some rain on Sunday. But again, we'll have to watch how that front moves through, and then we should be cooler by the start of next week. But yeah, turning quite hot. 80s next couple of days, then in the 90s.
Wow. All right, Grant. Thank you. Luke Notstein here. Rory McIlroy hoping for number 2.
That's right, Ashley. Sunday at the Masters, the best day on the sports calendar for golf fans all around the world. Up next, we take a look back at some of the most iconic moments in Masters history as we await the conclusion of today's final round at Augusta National.
And if you see breaking news or if you have a story tip, shoot video or pictures of the weather, all of it, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it. You can send your video or your pictures or that news tip to our team. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, I'm Luke Notstein. If you're a golf fan, then Sunday at the Masters could be the best day on the sports calendar. Things happen at this place that just don't happen anywhere else. You remember where you were in the big moments, who you were watching with, and how it made you feel. Legends cement their place in history at Augusta National. The green jacket, one of the most iconic pieces of clothing in sports. Remember, back in 1986, Jack Nicklaus was 46 years young, but man, he could still play, and he proved why by draining that putt en route to winning his 6th green jacket, his 18th major championship, and his 73rd career PGA Tour victory. The Golden Bear roared on that day in '86. And then there's Tiger back in 2005 in a tough spot on the 16th hole, but it was Tiger in his prime. And he did what only Tiger could do, hit the perfect shot at exactly the time he needed it. Iconic. One of the best shots of all time, captured perfectly at the Masters. The final round today still in progress. Rory McIlroy going for the two-peat, has a 2-shot lead over Scottie Scheffler and Justin Rose. McIlroy has 3 holes to play. If Rory can win today, he'll become just the 4th golfer all time to win the Masters 2 years in a row. The NASCAR Cup Series racing at Bristol today. Tyler Reddick has found the most success this season with 4 wins so far and 5 finishes within the top 10. The race at Bristol still happening, and actually it just ended moments ago. Ty Gibbs claims the checkered flag at Thunder Valley. But here's a look at the current NASCAR Cup Series standings. Tyler Reddick at the top thanks to his 4 wins this season. Ryan Blaney in second, followed by Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and William Byron. We'll have highlights from today's race at Bristol coming up tonight at Fox 50 at 10 and on WRAL at 11. The North Carolina baseball team beat Clemson last night in 14 innings. It was the 8th come-from-behind win of the season for the Diamond Heels, and they improved to 4-0 in extra inning games this season. Today, Carolina hoping to close out the series against Clemson. Let's pick it up in the bottom of the 4th. Bases jammed for Macon Winslow, who slaps a single into left field for the base knock. Jake Schaffner scores easily, and then the ball is bobbled in the outfield. That allows Jaden Nunez to score as the Heels lead 4-1. Later in the 4th inning, bases still loaded for Owen Hall, who smashes the ball to right field. And that's not going to stay in the park, folks. A grand slam for Owen Hall as North Carolina beats Clemson today 12-5 as the Heels have won 30 games this season. NC State going for its 7th victory in a row today, taking on Duke. 2nd inning, Duke's Colton Quagliano with the ridiculous jump throw from across the diamond. That's worth another look as Quagliano launches the ball from foul territory to get the out. Wow, fast forward to the top of the 9th, tied it to Duke's Caden Smith. Must have eaten a big breakfast today because that go-ahead bomb puts Duke in front 3-2, and that's your final score as Duke wins it 3-2. The Blue Devils' next game will be Tuesday against Liberty. Well, the Carolina Hurricanes have just 2 games remaining in the regular season as they try to earn the top seed for the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Canes off today before playing at Philadelphia on Monday night. Carolina picked up win number 3 in a row last night as they defeated the Mammoth in Utah. Andrei Svechnikov got the scoring started for the Canes Saturday night as he was in the exact right place to put home the rebound off the Nikolai Ehlers shot. That was goal number 31 on the season for Svech. Later in the game, Jordan Stahl does what the captain does best. Just hang out in front of the net and see what happens. And when he's there, good things do happen. Stahl scored his 20th goal of the season. The Canes, of course, hoping to finish out the regular season with some positive momentum. We'll find out probably Tuesday or Wednesday when they're going to play in the playoffs. Will likely be Saturday or Sunday.
20 goals in a season for the first time in, I think, about a decade. At 1 point to clinch the top seed. Luke, thank you. And thank you for joining us. Nightly News is next. Have a great evening.